Yes, I have one more question for you guys. I wasn't sure if we're going to have time to get to it, but I think it can be a quick one. Who do you think right now are the front runners for the Conn Smythe trophy? If you're just thinking about it, I only ask because is it Connor McDavid? And it's a serious question. It's a genuinely serious question. McDavid leads all playoffs right now, all playoff players in scoring by quite a large margin, except for Leon Draisaitl. 2.06 points per game for McDavid. If he plays, anywhere from 5 to 8 fewer games than everybody else in the playoffs, and he still leads by a handful of points, could the Conn Smythe Trophy seriously go to Connor McDavid? I don't know if it's ever happened, because I think the last guy to win it who wasn't on the winning team was J.S. Shiger in 2003 when the Ducks lost.
Yeah, they lost in the finals.
Yeah, I don't know if any player
layer of
Yeah.
I don't know if any player has ever won it without even being to the finals, but Connor McDavid's performance in these playoffs, he was the only reason that they went that far.
Yeah, well, I don't think that it's possible at all. I think that it's going to either a Colorado Avalanche or a Tampa Bay Lightning player, and probably of the winning team.
Yeah.
And just because I think that the people that give out these awards, they have both short-term memory and long-term memory. And the long-term of it is Nathan MacKinnon is top 10 all time in points per game in the playoffs and in his career, and has also been just an absolute game changer for them so far this year, or this playoffs. So, and he's going to continue to do that in this series. So if they win, I have to see MacKinnon getting it. And Tampa Bay, it's every year we're going, oh, it's going to go to Breeden Point. It goes to Kucherov because he's also unbelievable. Or you think it's going to go to Kucherov and Vasilevsky gets it. It's someone steps up big for them every single year. And I think, Vasilevsky's name is going to be again in this conversation. So
yeah,
I don't know. I have a hard time giving it to a player on a team that didn't make it to the finals. If Edmonton was in the finals and they lost, give it to Connor McDavid, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way. And if we're looking at history, I don't think it's ever happened. Someone can correct me if it has, it gone to a player who isn't in the Stanley Cup final. But the description of the trophy is, to the most valuable player to his team in the playoffs. And Connor McDavid, no one scored over 2 points per game in the playoffs in a long, long time, guys. And Connor McDavid was 2.06 this year. So I'm just saying, I think there's a serious consideration for it. But also, too, how can you not give it to a guy like Cale Makar, who has 22 points as a defenseman in 14 games?
Yeah, the Norris Trophy also goes to the best defenseman in the NHL each year, and it's strictly based off who scores the most points.
Yeah.
So, or it's mostly based off who scores the most points or goals or points per game or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that the definitions of these awards might need to change.
Yeah.
And we've said that about many of the awards.
Oh, did we lose Case? Anyway,
Yep.
If we lost Case Harp and it's just you and I just wanted to say I only brought that up because I just wanted to recognize McDavid's effort, because we didn't get to talk about it last week. What an absolute insane performance he's had these playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think there is a serious question to be had whether or not this trophy can be awarded to someone who's not in the Stanley Cup final, unlikely as that may be.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. We definitely didn't touch on the two teams that were eliminated out of the Final Four enough, and I'm glad you brought up McDavid and Leon Draisaitl as well. What he did playing hurt, because he was really hurting. I'm just so happy for the Edmonton Oilers for taking a huge step. It's huge for that organization. It's been a while. They were kind of underdogs coming in. I think a lot of people didn't expect them to get that far, and their two Ferraris were going, and they were going to take them as far as they could, and they just ran into a really good team. So yeah, kudos to McDavid and Draisaitl. hell of a playoffs.
Looked it up for you, Chad.
Okay.
4 times in NHL history has it gone to a player who did not win the Stanley Cup. Out of the 50-something times it's been given, 56 times the award's been given out. 51 played for the team that won for the Stanley Cup. So
yeah.
Roger Crozier in 1966, Glenn Hall in 1968, Reggie Leach in 1976. All goalies, by the way, so far.
Yeah.
Ron Hextall, 1987, another goalie. Let's keep going. J.S. Giguère, 2003, another goalie.
Yeah.
All goalies.
Yeah.
And all went to the finals, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's tough when you have that additional layer, right? And, you know, especially if the Stanley Cup final, I think, goes to 7 games, it's like then you look at, okay, like who was the best player in that 7-game series? And then that Western Conference final or that Eastern Conference final becomes a distant memory at that point. So,
yeah, but I get that. And I'm not even arguing that this should be the case. I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here that I think there could be a conversation to be had. Because what if it goes to 7 games, right? And that means Tampa Bay has played 8 more games than Edmonton. What if no one else has more points in the playoffs than McDavid? And he's played 8 less games.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like,
no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, what McDavid had 33 points?
Yeah.
In the postseason?
Yeah, and that would have been in like how many games do they play?
Well, 7 plus 5, that's 12, and then another 4, so 16.
Yeah, well, there you go.
33 points in 16 games.
Yeah. By the way, there's some NHL history buff right now that's losing his mind that I said Reggie Leach was a goalie. He's not. So I just wanted to correct myself before some Philadelphia Flyer who was alive in 1976 shits on.
Yeah, but I mean, the trend was there, right? You said Glenn Hall, Ron Hextall, J.S. Giguère were the other 3, right? So,
yeah, and he's also in the photo they use, he's standing side by each with the goalies. So, like, that also didn't help me. And, I don't know who Reggie Leach is, so sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, but, if I'm ranking guys right now in terms of how much I think they deserve to win the Conn Smythe, Cale Makar is probably number 1 for me. Andre Vasilevsky's probably number 2, and then like McDavid might be like 4 or 5. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think McDavid would accept the trophy.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't.
He'd be like, "Fuck you."
He'd be like, "No, I want another trophy.
The only trophy I want."
Yeah. You know what? I think this is bad too for the Oilers, the fact that they got this far. I know we're getting off topic here a little bit and we should probably wrap up, but I think it's probably bad for the Oilers that they got this far because Ken Holland is going to look at his team and think, I made the right moves this offseason, and we're going to see another, Cody Ceci or Duncan Keith type ad, and then they're going to let Jesse Puljujarvi walk, and they're going to, just commit to Kailer Yamamoto for too long and too much. And it's going to, I don't know. It just seems like this is affirming that Ken Holland did a good job, whereas it was just McDavid and Draisaitl carrying this fucking team,
I mean, yes, you look at guys like Kane and Hyman, who were also, I think, kind of underrated, ads and performers for this team. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting offseason for this hockey club for sure. A lot of decisions to be made the next few weeks.
Yeah, I have fewer problems with their forward group. I actually quite like it now with Hyman and Kane and Puljujarvi and Yamamoto and all those guys. But it's just their back end still.
Heard one of those guys is gone. One of those guys is gone.
It's going to be Puljujarvi, I think. It seems like they're more committed to Yamamoto. And listen, Puljujarvi, I'll take him on Toronto. Like, why wouldn't you?
Of course you will.
Well, Case, you should be in on him too, being a Devils fan.